All right. So, once more into the breach with a little bit more than a feeling and an understanding as to where this coterie actually is. This is officially, without any shadow of a doubt, The Dark in Bethany. Season 3. Episode 1. Periculum, Comminatio et Sacrificium. Or for those of us who don't speak Latin, danger, threat, and sacrifice. We pick up roughly 2 weeks after we last left these characters. When we last left the House Figs, the very real and actual torpid Bruja Primogen of Bethany had risen from, well, the punishment of her torpor to inflict all due harm and agony on the coterie. Would you all be so kind in this particular moment to roll your highest dice pool as a standing to understand how successful you all were in escaping the wrath of that situation? Whether it was attempting to talk your way out of it, put someone else in your path, or physically accost and defend yourself with all due haste. That choice and how that worked out is solely up to you all to describe based on your dice pool.
Okay. And just for my own personal edification, because I'm solving a family crisis right now, the situation that we're referring to is where we last left off with the oh-so-wonderful coercion.
The Primogen is about to beat the shit out of us, is what's happening.
Very much so.
Oh!
The one that, is in torpor because of us.
Oh!
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Absolutely wonderful. An allowance for rouse, or since this is a historical check, would you prefer not?
More reflexively.
There we go. Alright.
Alrighty, let's see. What's my specialty again?
What wild?
Listen, Primogen, you look like you could use some therapy.
Oh,
You had a hard day, huh?
Are we throwing together just any two stats, or do they have to make sense?
They do have to make sense because you have to explain how they worked for your character or didn't, as the case may unfortunately prove to be.
Yeah, no, so Annabelle is not going to offer therapy, but she's going to use her experience in talking people down out of their bad ideas and kind of like soothing rage with manipulation plus persuasion and possibly therapy. Specialty. If that's.
Oh god, how do I... I don't... How do I justify this?
Justify what?
Well, he told me to use my highest dice pool and then justify it. My highest dice pool is int plus technology.
You can offer to build them something amazing.
That's more of a persuasion, isn't it?
you can have built a drone that lets you see him coming and run the fuck away.
Alright, so Nobu, what's the lighting situation down here in the crypt? Is it flame-based, or I would imagine not? It's technological, yeah?
It is electricity, yes.
Alright, bueno. Then I have my justification ready. Annabelle, it looks like therapy did not work so well.
No, that is specifically my extra therapy die, just in case I can allow it. I got 5 otherwise.
Oh yeah, no, from the sounds of it, you're just like, hey, you know, it's nice to vent out your emotions like this, but it needs to be constructive, not destructive.
That's right. Let's just talk about this.
Dear God, now would be the perfect time to purchase.
What do you mean? My too highest would have been dexterity and animal kin, but that would have made no sense. She's not an animal.
All right, so
Run faster than the bear. That's dex plus animal kin.
So, as you all have the opportunity of noticing, that was the effective roll from the formerly torpid, currently frenzied, angry Bruja Primogen you all betrayed. There is no other way for them to have viewed what you all managed.
Can I say part of my calming him down was bringing him a snack?
No, I refuse to be the snack.
Not you, a mortal.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no,
Some
this is my buddy
random-
Tim. I don't know why he's down here, but he is down here.
Some random mortal. As an apology, he looks hungry. He could use some food, make him more likely to talk to us.
Is it the pizza delivery guy that knocks on the crypt chamber doors?
So wait, was that 6 against our total, or 6 in general, and we beat their total?
That is in general. They are a frenzied, whirling dervish of anger, hurt feelings, and the natural frustrations of realizing individuals you've spent the last half a decade or more in the presence of, who betrayed you, who ended your conscious hours, who put you into a chemically induced coma, i.e. torpor. The only time where a kindred is able to approximately sleep, because during the daylight hours there is no sleep. There is no whiling away, tossing and turning. It is death once more visiting your flesh. You blink and all of the hours of the day disappear. It is literally for each of you all, each sunrise, as if the world ceases existing, including you. All of your thoughts, all of your ghost of emotions, all of your feelings disappear for a blink of an eye, because that's what it is for you. So you don't get the surcease of a good rest. You don't have prophetic dreams or your mind working at the stressors of your previous waking hours. Torpor is as close to sleep as you all can be, save with the added benefit you are alone with your worst self. You are trapped in a 4x4 room with the stronger, unbridled, worst aspects of every portion of your emotion, thoughts, and feelings. Forever. And interspersed with all of that forever happening where you get no rest are the sounds, scents, and feelings of the world around you. Layered over 101 times, you're sensitive to everything that happens around you without being able to affect it. You are victim to all of the shifting kaleidoscopic flashes of lights and stimulus and voices and conversations with no ability to interact. And that's what you all are facing in the physical visage of Renee Logan, who through some mysterious power has managed to rise from their torpid state, fully ravenous, as you all officially verbally sign your names on the dotted line to do away with the Prince of Shreveport, the Prince above Bethany's Prince, who the entirety of all the Bethanites have worked in service of. Some for decades, others for quarter centuries, and some still yet the only higher power that they've ever known. One of those entities standing before you all, having been willing to give their body in service to, and is now facing you all down. Literally, when we last looked at these characters, the horrid, emaciated, supernally pissed form of Renee Logan was bearing down on you all. With your results of your roles and your decisions of skills and aptitudes used, how did they, with that target number, escape or survive the interactions with Miss Logan?
All right. Do you guys have any particular spunk to go first, or may I?
Go for it.
Right. So, intelligence plus technology coming into play, it means I have had to interact with the mechanics and engineering around me in some way to disrupt, delay, or otherwise impair her desired effect, which is all of us dusted on the earth. Given that the lighting down here is electric, and knowing that somebody who can't see in the dark is somebody who cannot proficiently hunt in the dark, Joji, upon seeing their fully awakened, fully lithe state, will find, his eyes quickly, via the use of celerity and his heightened mind, will trace and follow the metal pipework that protects the cords, which attached to each of the lighting fixtures within this room, finding their junction, and while they are hampered somewhat, what seems, at least by the rolls here, by India's interference, kill the lights to the room and disorient Renee Logan.
Nice.
India doesn't have her rope on her, but there were ropes and things that they brought down, I guess, to keep her restrained originally, so that India's thought she's going back to her cattle roping days and using her dexterity and brawl to wrestle that bitch to the ground.
Nice. Meanwhile, there's just this voice in the dark. And, just telling pretty little lies about how everything's gonna be fine. Just need to let the beast have its way for a little bit, and then we can talk. We'll have a nice chat about how we were off. And literally, if there is any mortal being in the potential area, then she will absolutely feed it to him. But I don't think we would have time for that. I don't know.
Unless it's a ghoul, I don't see it being down here, not gonna lie.
I will sacrifice somebody's goal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not me.
Make more enemies for us, please.
No. So then just talking, trying to calm them down, trying to, while they're being wrestled and in the dark and everything is confusing. She is being the point of comfort and safety, and trying to kind of draw out the anger and the rage.
All right. So, effectively, when she is, her sight is gone and she must focus on her hearing, you're attempting to occupy that as well.
Yeah. And then India's got her wrestled.
Yes.
Yes, nothing like being up close and personal in the first line of body between something that wishes to tear everything limb from limb and drink down the entirety of the world. It is by far the safest position.
I agree. And that's why I let you do it, because I'm a giver like that.
You know, they say hiding direct underneath something's nose is the best place to hide until it is a scent-based predator.
Yes, such as it would become with the absence of light. So here's the situation. When we blink away, the world losing focus and drifting into darkness with our last episode, with our last moments with these characters. A lot happened in between there and now. And it began with each of the coterie members staring into the horror that is what happens to a kindred body when wholly and solely possessed by the beast and another entity. The strange leaking of blood from Miss Logan's eyes and ears, and from the fingernail beds and her desiccated, almost mummified corpse, while off-putting, was not the biggest question hanging over everyone. Believe it or not, while many of the kindred present leaped to action, prepared to do graphic and gruesome combat in the efforts of laying this enemy low, one of the many things that was on everyone else's mind was how much did they hear? How much did they actually understand? Because while the input, impulses, and signals were still flowing, sorting out what was real, what was the voice of the beast inside, what were some of the absent thoughts, is oftentimes too heady for most to actually grasp in full. The safety features from being alive often carry over into your undead state. So while you absorb every small bit of visual, oral, and olfactory information, it's too much for the mind to comprehend all at once. So it blurs it out, it erases it, it saves disk space so that you all remain sane. Sometimes that happens for the kindred. In this particular case, with the hissing, the animalistic hunch, the praying, and the mindless flailing, at least initially, in the effort of obtaining vitae, there's no telling. It's not as if they can communicate. As the lights go dim, as Joji flees the immediate area to find a way to lay this thing low. Most kindred cannot see in the dark. Most kindred, and as the lights go out and India leaps into action using what ropes and bungee cords they can find to bring Miss Logan low, her sire leaping to the fore and offering assistance, and they wrestle and otherwise slow the mindless flailing of Miss Logan, with Annabelle speaking and haranguing and tossing up potentialities to connect with what little bit of humanity remains in that bestial form things turn sideways, as they often do. With so many things happening at once, it is with no joy that India and her sire finds themselves on the opposite end of receiving 2 points of unhalved superficial, which quickly grow to 4, which quickly grow to more, as encumbered, mostly held is not completely held. And a chunk here, and a bite there, and a scratch here, and a yowl there, and the unrelenting assault is in fact quite too much. And as the dust begins to settle, and the mindless vitae sponging being that is Renee seems to be breaking free, seems to be cutting a swath, seems to be on the precipice of drowning in the sheer volume of vitae that they are unleashing. The sound of stone on stone echoes through the chamber. 9 red gleaming orbs moving through the darkness with the weight of elephants. And all too soon it is in fact over. Injured though they are, valiantly having fought for their prince, the gangrel are awarded some measure of acclaim. Valiant though they were in attempting to put themselves on the line and continue service to the good prince himself, Annabelle and Joji and Maddie are awarded some measure of acclaim. Smith Johnson and his cadre of the breed stand victorious over the felled body of Miss Logan, thanks to the effort of the coterie, thanks to the pains endured by India and her sire, Bro. And with the help of Olivia, Ali, the Seneschal, it is put forth that the Bethanites might obtain some small bit of domain inside of Shreveport as a reward for their valiant service and sacrifice. That was 2 weeks ago. In that time of mending, collecting themselves, and making themselves visible during the few court appearances necessary and mandated for being members and holding domain in Shreveport, what has each of the coterie members managed to do?
Ooh, managed to do. Well, just looking at the map that we've got here of Shreveport, I would say, oh, what's a fun one? Okay. Using, do I have it? Do I have the merit? You know what? I have the XP. Would you mind me spending some of my unearned, or not my unearned, some of my unspent XP on a mask to represent embedding myself within the university, the Louisiana State University of Shreveport?
I would mind. How dare you, sir?
I know, I'm terrible.
Okay. So that's what Joji would bend himself to, finding a way to carve out a niche for himself inside Shreveport. Annabelle, India.
I think India's first and foremost is healing from that fucking damage she did. And she probably feels a little bit like a trapped thing in such a big place. I mean, she's been there like short periods of time, but usually she's used to having space and being able to ride her horses and such like that. So being here by force for a long period of time would make her a little stir crazy. So I have yet to figure out what she would use that stir crazy for.
Okay.
So Annabelle's gonna leverage her new fame and try to increase her status in this Shreveport area, because they did such great things, and they've been commended several times, and she has her reputation back in Bethany, and now she's building her reputation here in Shreveport as well, in her efforts to build her legends throughout the world eventually.
Actually, that makes sense. I just figured out. I think she would spend more time with her sire, kind of learning the ropes and maybe getting some training, whatever her sire is willing to teach her. Maybe bettering her ability to fight, getting some gun training, that sort of thing. Like, so if she's able to shadow her sire and get some training and etiquette sort of thing for this higher up level of kindred society, that would be helpful.
So you've all spent the intervening time finding your space. Lita, how have you, with the success of your coterie, assuring the death of your former Bruja Primogen, how does Lita spend their time building themselves into Shreveport?
Probably doing a little more research on the local Vale, and possibly kind of just generally researching her abilities. I'm thinking she's probably reading some pretty thick tomes.
Okay. I don't know if that, correct me if I'm wrong, Nobu, that's not really digging out a spot for yourself within the city of Shreveport. I mean, it's definitely something you can do, but I don't think it fits the question. Would you like a little bit of context on what we're doing to inform your decision there?
Sure.
Alright, so, for instance, what Joji is doing is he's upgrading his mask, he's getting in contact with the people necessary to forge more onto his identity, and using that to garner a position in the Louisiana University there in Shreveport. Oh, what's this? And while the other ones, I believe India, you said that you were
Strengthening bonds with their sire and learning the lay of the land.
There we go. Strengthening bonds with their sire and learning about the city proper. So those are just kind of generally the ideas that we're shooting for here.
I guess I would be spending time with Clan Akata, possibly even my sire a little bit.
Okay, so familiarizing yourself with the Hikata presence within the city?
Yeah.
While Annabelle is not busy leveraging her fame in the city, she is also going to build up a small herd here. Because hers is back home.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, all of her stuff is back home.
It is amazing how far away Shreveport is to Bethany. How it is literally on the moon in comparison. Shreveport being the hub of not just one state, but 3 states is compacted and dense. And there are a significant amount of machinations going off at every single solitary moment of the day. It is the place where hope goes to die. And it dies a death of 1,000,001 cuts. Small little nothing injuries that pile up and compound over time. The reason why that's important in regards to how the coterie of Bethany embed themselves into the city is the moment that they have a small bit of domain, the moment that they are set up for operation, not far from the airport out near the Pines Road area, close enough to be directly involved in the happenings of Shreveport and able to be of assistance to the Primogen of Shreveport, yet far enough away literally to be scapegoats if they wish or are chosen to be by others' machinations. They immediately go their own separate ways. They immediately find themselves embroiled and enmeshed in personal dramas. The college area, the university area, isn't Shreveport. It very much is, but like all youth cultures around the world, it is definitively united in being iconoclastic to every other aspect of society presently in the offing in Shreveport. The mental health community in Shreveport, by far one of the best in the region, is considerably miles away because there's so many other tenured and respected colleagues, and there is a mountain to climb to stand out. In every instance of standing out, there is someone else who offers cheaper rates, accepts more insurance, is willing to bend over backwards to make sure that they are available. It is a cutthroat world with the smile of, this will definitely help you out. Let's try this. Have you considered? What have you thought about? Maybe if you, and all of the voices of those seeking to help you build yourself only get in the way and add white noise to you achieving your goal. And the worst of it all, while Shreveport is as Texas as you can be and not be in Texas, it is decidedly also fighting a war with its French identity. Unlike Louisiana, state capital, social state capital of New Orleans, Shreveport has always had an issue with its identity. It is a city that is literally tearing itself apart on a daily basis to find and define what it means to be Shreveport. You have a wide swath of the population who adhere 100% to the idea of being Texanos and nowhere near it. You have an entire swath of the population who fight to define themselves as solely Shreveport. They're not New Orleans. They ain't Texas. They ain't Oklahoma. And yet all of these hundreds of thousands of voices compile to make sure that there's no singular identifiable identity for Shreveport that is not in conflict with all of the others. This is mirrored in the fact that the Primogen of Shreveport are still at war with a unified anarch state led by Lucky, the Baron, the Bruja Baron of Shreveport, and by Simone O'Neill Bowen, or better known as SOB, his emissary. He's guided and advised by Gustav Carlos von Hedrick, the rebel philosopher of the Hakadah, and assisted by Cadence and Jessela Mondesur of the ministry, who hold rights and responsibilities to several score of shelters, outreach centers, nonprofits throughout the city, bringing the message of what the ministry is to the public. No, they don't come right out and tell the mortals that they are the ministry, but they practice a ministry. You see them on several different corners. They're mortal hierophants passing out pamphlets, offering help, delivering blankets and food, and all sorts of social assistive programs so that they keep a steady influx of would-be, soon-to-be, might one day grow into anarchs. And because they use mortals, it makes them all but invisible and impossible to curtail by the tower. Because they hide behind an army of public good, embedding themselves in the very fabric of the mortal world during the daylight hours and during the early evenings, they are virtually untouchable. Which is part of the problem that India finds patrolling with Bro. While Bro's primary job and primary position is in fact acting as security and body man for Ali, the seneschal of the city, their duties do entail patrolling the city, keeping the anarchs in line, making sure that there's no threat to the seneschal, making sure that there's no threat to the tower. And because of the way that the anarchs here operate, you're fighting ghosts in the dark. The actions carried out by the anarchs in the city are largely social. The attacks are attacks of credibility. The attacks are pointed at properties held by tower. The attacks are carried out by mortals with no clear sign that the anarchs themselves are actually involved. It is frustration after frustration after frustration. Big city, little kindred, in other words. Which makes where you all find yourselves highly confusing. Separate, divisible, spread out over the city, you all find yourselves in the early morning hours, standing atop one of Shreveport's tallest skyscrapers in the downtown central business district. You all feel the internal chiming of your clocks, knowing that in the next hour, at the very maximum, the sun will be up. You find yourselves standing over bloodied and beaten the Prince, Smith Johnson, his angry imperious glare meeting each of your eyes in turn, as if he knows that this is not over. There will be more to come. On the surface, there's no way that he is not victorious. On the surface, his defiance is all-consuming. On the surface, he is still as strong as when the Breed dispatched Renee Logan, and all of the conspirators grew quiet, sycophantically praising his efforts and his strength. But here you 5 are, standing over the vanquished and beaten Prince of Shreveport, the quote-unquote strongest prince in Tremere, west of the Mississippi. A prince who has done what no others have managed, unifying the controls of 3 different states underneath his control, underneath his grasp, in his sway. And as his pride drips and oozes over you all, beaten though he is, haggard though he is, the most heart-wrenching thing happens. He begins to beg, begins to offer, he begins to cajole and attempt to sway through pity. And something in your hearts crack a little bit at the idea of something and someone so mighty fallen and vanquished, like some squirming bug waiting to be crushed by your boots. The signs of battle all over your skin, your clothes, the vitae spilled across the roof, bits and pieces of the breed lying here and there. The gaping wound in his chest as he fakes a fall breath, his lungs expanding, his vitae dripping to the concrete of the roof below. And as you all open your mouth individually and look to each other as a group, figure out what it is that you're going to say, you find yourselves rousing for the evening as the sun sets. Would each of you all be so kind as to go ahead and roll Awaken for me?
Oh.
No, no thanks.
Awaken. Are we resetting hunger?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say
Yeah.
this is gonna be very bad for all involved.
So, can I heal some of my ag willpower since I've been trying to, like, you know, increase my fame and power.
That has worked adverse to your sense of self. That is the most damaging thing you can do, is put yourself out there.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, how do you know my brother?
Damn.
Stop.
I have yet begun to stop.
Hammer time.
My cat is making. She's being annoying.
Is she being annoying, or are you annoying her?
Probably both. I'm annoying her by not, like, complying to her demands to be pet. And she's clawing.
Sounds That definitely sounds like a cat's behavior.
Mm-hmm. And it was all a dream.
That's at once the most accurate and untrue thing ever. Everyone knows that the dead don't dream. Everyone knows that the blessings of sleep are forever banished from the domain of the kindred. Yet as you all rise for the evening in various states of aroused hunger, as the beast nips around the edges with more intensity for some of you all, the fact you've all shared in that moment, the fact you all could smell the melony, iron-rich scent of the Princess Vitae. The fact that you could pinpoint what the breed members lying dead around you were wearing, and you could feel the sun coming near dawn. There is that palpable weight that it was something more. There's the feeling of its veracity, as if you had the opportunity of looking over the neighbor's yard and seeing your treasure waiting there unguarded.
Spooky.
No, sir, I don't bite it.
I don't cotton to the idea.
So arousing for the evening. What is it that you want to do?
Joji, fully aware that what he just went through was not okay, will be finding his way very swiftly to what he knows. India, does he know of your abode?
Yeah, probably should make sure that they can all reach her when they need to. Seeing as how they are the only ones that have each other here, particularly.
Alright, then yeah, he will be finding his way very swiftly to her abode. Because that was fucking weird, and he needs to make sure he's not just going insane.
Yeah. For the record, Annabelle's not hard to find either.
One would friggin' hope, given that she's pretty much all of our therapist.
Lena?
Find her own therapist in this fucking city? It's the worst.
And Lena?
Yes.
Having experienced and shared that moment, rousing for the evening, what is their agenda?
I think I woke up a little hungrier than everybody else, so I'm going to see if I have some blood bags lying around, which I think I picked some up last time. So I'll have a snack before I really deal with it.
Well, here's the question. Over the last 2 weeks, would Lita have sought out the opportunity of potentially building contacts within Shreveport for herself, while she's been tutoring and being mentored by her sire?
Possibly a little. She's got
Okay.
wise.
So that being the case, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma plus streetwise -1? Your success determines whether you have the opportunity of obtaining any illegally obtained blood bags. Unless, of course, you would not like to roll and just succeed at cost.
I'll roll.
Okay.
I've got a specialty in black market. Does that count?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, I will save the -1 then.
So as every for the evening, the animating force returning to them, the weight of the future, the alternate reality, other things weighing on everyone's mind, Joji, Annabelle, and India began drawing towards one another to find succor and solace. They head towards each other's place to converse and communicate, to commune and find some way of the veracity of what they felt, experienced. While Lita rises, the confusing conundrum of what they experience weighing on their shoulders, they saunter over to their cooler and withdraw a bag of blood that says St. Mary's Memorial Church. As per usual, they don't bother breaking out the good china for their meal. Their resource, Rico, who they met through a friend of a friend of a friend who happened to be volunteering at one of the Caden's and Jessela's outreach centers. And while the blood itself looks a little light, you know that's because of all of the chemicals added to keep it from coagulating in the bag, and you don't pay it any mind. Because you are in fact a well-mannered and well-raised lady, take your stainless steel straw to the blood bag and puncture it. Just enough to get the straw all the way down to the bottom. Right to that bottom left corner so that you can hold it very much like a bagged wine and sip an adult Capri Sun, a kindred Capri Sun. And the first sip is delicious. Has a little bit of spice, a little bit of happiness. The chemical undertones are just mild enough that you don't bother to really consider them. And before you know it, it is good. It goes down like saccharine sweet heaven. Satiated, the voice at the back of your head still demanding more, still demanding something with more flavor, immediately shuts up as if something gags it. And then, unlike how it went down, it explosively rockets out of you. It pours and flows as if someone stuck a hose up your ass and turned it on full volume, rinsing up through the entirety of your intestines and clearing out everything that might have stuck to the crevices of your intestines. Luckily for you, the only thing that stuck to your intestines are the blood bag that you down greedily, hungrily. Please increase your hunger by 1. As not just the contents of that blood bag, but the contents of your theming, or vitae, oozes and mixes and mingles with the very poorly stored blood that you just consumed.
Oh, that is unfucking fortunate, my friend.
Ugh.
Perks of killing people, I guess.
Yeah, do you need me to talk to you about how to get over this blood bag obsession of yours?
Yeah. You need to hear the word of our Lord and Savior, murder.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Hey, it feels like you're going to be engaging in it soon, regardless of whether or not that conversation happens.
Now the question that hangs over your head, Lita. In settling in and learning from your sire, in settling into the big city, bright lights of Shreveport, did they obtain their own condo, apartment, hole in the wall, or supply, or are they depending on the manners and hospitality of their sire?
Honestly, I'm rich, so I probably have my own place.
Excellent. That's always a very, very good thing. So, would they look inside of the space that's been set aside for the Bethanites for their domain? Or would they have simply looked for something that is amenable to their level of expectations of comfort?
I'd probably stick with the domain.
Okay.
It is a little more polite.
The reason why I asked, because while there are great hotels throughout the entirety of Shreveport, there's always a motel, Airbnb, a condo for rent, or what have you. The Pines Road area, again, is just far enough from the center of Shreveport where the levels of prestige and heightened luxury diminish. Excuse me. So while you have a lovely condo, it is not the same as having you being at home at your estate in Bethany. Instead of the sprawling yards upon yards upon yards of square yardage that you have to allow your voice to echo and reverberate back to you, where your thoughts have enough room to spread out and expand almost infinitely. Condo living is considerably other. The only light-proof space in your condo, of course, is the bedroom, which took some doing and some work because everyone wants natural light and great views. And while you have that from your living space, from the front room of your condo, it means that when you expelled all of the less than fresh blood that you consumed, it is in fact over your windows. It is in fact over the dressings for your windows, your floors, which have been polished to a high shine and sheen. It is over the all too white, well, formerly white carpet there in your living room set. Standing in the bile, standing in the all too dark blood, what does Lita decide to do? The voice hasn't stopped. The blood has done you no service except for, well, you need to find a crime scene cleaner to repair this instead of your usual maid service. And the weight of the thoughts previously still hang on your shoulders.
Yeah, I think I'll just set out into the night and try to get going. I think I'll try to meet with the coterie if possible.
Speaking of heading out into the night, Joji, Annabelle, the weight of the previous moments, because that's what they were moments. You were there as you all move across the small distance of space to get to where India is. What are you all about? What are you all doing in this moment?
So, navigating his way around and as for the domain, do we have established like a building within the domain that we have as a kind of haven for this area? I know Lita has their own thing, but did the domain itself come with a outpost of sorts?
Yeah, there's some, a coterie haven.
Do you all think you would deserve one? A Coterie Haven?
All right,
Come
all right.
now.
Okay.
Have you seen all the things we've done for the city?
100% all.
I think with India's kind of chill personality, she probably would have just designated her house the meeting place, like, yeah, you can come over, type of thing.
Okay. Absolutely. If that's the case, then as he's going about his day, driving towards India's in an attempt to very, very quickly gather at the muster point, as it were, he's using his totally Camarilla-approved burner phone and attempting to get a hold of his psychiatrist, Annabelle, because this is definitely a psych potential moment. By the way, bro, beautiful. Thank you for that. That'll help me find it on the Google Maps.
Yes, Joji.
Not that good, Doc. I had, and this is gonna sound weird because I know it doesn't work like that, but I had a dream. Not a dream, a sort of dream. I was asleep. Dead, but and I saw, which is not okay.
Joji.
What?
Slow down.
I am going the speed limit. I am doing fine.
Breathe.
I'm what?
Breathe.
That's
You don't
literally
have to.
useless for me.
I know you don't have to. Just do it for me. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
how does this work again?
about this vision that you
Okay. Yeah.
saw.
About?
The vision that you had, you were describing it to me.
I was?
You were. And if you weren't, you are now. Please
Okay.
continue.
So, like, the Prince of Bel Air,
Uh-huh.
and how he got into a lot of trouble in the neighborhood.
It does do that quite
Yeah,
a bit.
I had a dream that, we were those punk kids getting really frosty with Will Smith.
That is troubling.
Yeah. Well, not only just because we had a dream, I had a dream, and I normally don't dream, but that it would contain such an interesting topic. I've not watched The Fresh Prince in so long. I don't know why. I don't know why it would be coming up in my head now.
I'll tell you what the more troubling part is. If you were
Yeah, no, I've got all the time in the night. A little bit of time. I gotta go to sleep at some point.
I've had a similar dream.
Oh! Like when?
Like last night. I believe it would be better if we were to have a session in person, perhaps.
Oh, thank God, I'm not insane. Alright, I'm on my way to the clubhouse. I know it's not the clubhouse. I know it's a very
Yeah.
private residence, but it's a clubhouse now.
The clubhouse is. I will meet you there.
Alright, well, I'm going to hang up now because I just almost ran a red light, and splitting my attention like this is not very good for me.
I'll see you there.
Alrighty.
So as you all arrive, each of you grown accustomed to some of the traffic patterns of Shreveport. Each of you grown accustomed to, for what is here in Shreveport, wide open vistas. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of blah 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 bullshit. You all come from Bethany. Your estates your homes, your businesses, your places of entertainment sprawl. Here, it's too many people, too closed in. It's too active. There's constantly motion. Your drive here, if you all weren't dead, would be nerve-wracking. And because you are dead, it is equally nerve-wracking safe. You don't have the autonomic responses of being driven into a panic. Too many people, too fast, driving offensively, defensively, and just peter-puttering throughout their lives. As you all arrive at India's, it's one of the few nights where India is not, in fact, patrolling with Bro. And it is one of the few nights where, instead of up and at 'em and meeting at the Odd Fellows temple right up the road, instead of being summoned to one function or another in service to Ali, instead of meeting on the far side of the airport at the Hampton Inn for one clandestine meeting after another to make sure that Ali is in fact safe, or what have you, India is at their residences, at your clubhouse, with no clear and easy signs of reason to do much else.
Just kind of.
Having woken up or like roused from that weirdness, she would be a little out of sorts. Her normally well put together but still wild hair would be up in like kind of a messy bun. She's in an oversized t-shirt and like a little shorts situation, kind of drags her feet towards the door. I fucking hear you. Just wait a minute. And then
Rush job empowered knocking ensues.
oh, swear to God. If I didn't like you so much, I'd punch you in your face. And then she just opens up the door.
Oh, hi, you're awake. That's great. I expected you to be. Hey, so, and he turns over his shoulder, looking to Annabelle. So, yeah, no, we have a thing. We had a thing. We wanted to know if you had the thing.
Who's
You're wondering what
meth
I mean.
did you get it? Get
I don't do
inside.
meth. I didn't do meth. Oh. And, Annabelle, you, doctor, you please,
Of course, she lets them
Maybe-
both in and lets them shut the door. She's just like the
Yeah.
sound of slippers dragging across the floor.
All right. So once they're inside, and Annabelle says, "Is Lita coming? Did anyone know?" Okay.
I can try and give them a call. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll distract myself with that. Thank you. You two, you explain what's going on with her. I'm gonna call Lita.
Yes. All right. So it seems that there has been some sort of strangeness going on. There,
Y'all dreaming about killing a prince too?
yeah. That's,
So was that a dream or did we actually do that shit? I woke up smelling
That-
blood.
is the question, isn't it? I know that we had made certain promises previously. Is the date? when I went to sleep, it was. This is what the date was. Is it still tomorrow? Or have we missed some?
Yeah, at
Do
the
you
fax
have a
machine voices.
television or something with that we could perhaps. I don't know.
Well, it's not like this place ain't furnished because I got it that way. So she goes over to what she would assume is the wall-mounted TV and flips it on and goes to a news channel.
Oh. So you and Annabelle are looking at the TV, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Would you both be so kind as to roll your resolve plus composure?
I would love to. Yes. Nothing could go wrong by the. Yep.
You see, kids, TV rots your brain.
Mm. I got a 7 critical.
Oh!
I am cooler than a cucumber that's been in the freezer for 6 months.
Heck yeah. Dr. Hafiz? Let's go. Or Hafiz? Fuck.
Office.
There's an understanding that part of mankind's ability to maintain themselves on this mud ball hurtling through space is their ability, much like a virus, to adapt to all sorts of stimulus. That, for you two, did not end upon death, as tiredly, overwrought, India moves and grabs the remote and turns towards the absolutely void-like blackness of the flat screen sitting there on the bureau. Its reflective surfaces returning the image of you two slightly askew. And you watch as your mirrored selves watch as you all grow closer as you move towards the TV. You all watch as your mirrored selves begins beckoning you forward. And instead of freaking out, instead of losing your mind, instead of in all due actually paying it any mind whatsoever, it's just a freaky trick of the light. It can't be real. You've seen real horror. You felt the touch of otherness that would cause most other kindreds to lose themselves. This small phantasmal image means nothing to you all. And you turn on the nightly news. Good evening. This is Chuck Naproxen of Freeport WXBC. And Blase Skippy. And it is in fact regular TV. It is the Channel 2 Shreveport News, and they are recounting on this, that, and the other, the pecan eating fig contest and so forth and so on, and it is exactly the date you expect it to be. While not far off, distracting himself with the call towards Lita.
Yeah.
Lita.
Yeah.
So your conversation, if there is one, do you bother answering?
I do. I let him know I'm a couple of minutes out.
Oh, you are? That's great. How do I explain this? The Emperor's new clothes. That'll be the analogy I use for this one. Yeah, so, I had a wonderful dream about stealing the Emperor's clothes. That is not normal. Did you have a weird dream last night?
I did.
Okay, so it's all of us then. That's great. We're at the clubhouse. We'll see you when you get here. You said you're a few minutes out, right? Like how many minutes specifically?
Depends on how much I gun it.
Obey traffic laws.
I'll do my best.
Okay, bye.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Excellent.
Yeah, no. So they're on their way. Are we experiencing a weird lapse in time?
We are not. So, no, never mind.
What's up?
Nothing. Just a thought I had, a memory of things that have happened before.
You've had a dream of killing a prince before?
Oh no, this one's new. It was pretty good. But no, I just sometimes, do you still see yourself in the mirror?
Oh, I stopped looking at mirrors days ago. You still look at mirrors? That's a terrible idea.
It's funny how the mentioning of it brings all of the many times you've all avoided reflective services over the last few weeks. It's funny how now that it's been mentioned that even before you all arrived in Shreveport, the idea of standing in front of a reflective service fell off of your normal everyday activities. It's funny that now that it's mentioned, even your compact, when you go to make sure that your makeup, your lipstick is spot spotted absolutely almost perfect, you don't actually make sure that it catches your eye. You make sure that it's solely on your lips. You're almost looking at it from an angle that only provides your lips. You never give it a full face. You never give in to that urge, that beckoning that's still there.
Yes. Obviously I have the urge under control. But it is a little bit obnoxious that it still exists.
Yeah. You driving without being able to, properly look in my rear views for fear of me looking back has been an interesting experience.
I guess it makes sense now why Envia's hair is probably as messy as it is, because she just stopped looking at me.
I thought about, just using like a digital device rather than a proper mirror. Wait, do you think that'll work?
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
Your digital device does it have a shiny screen?
So long as it's powered on, no.
Then you're probably fine. I'm sure nothing bad.
That normally preludes bad things.
And almost as if spoken up like the devil of yore, there's the knock at the door of Lita's arrival.
This man just purposefully rhymed like I wouldn't notice it.
Do
Lita. So good to see you. How have you been?
Causing an absolutely absurd jump out of Joji with the knocking on the door.
So, is it just me, or does anyone think this might be our sires messing with us?
I would appreciate that, actually. I don't think she would, though.
My sire would, but I don't think he did.
I've heard rumors that certain sires are able to implant dreams in their childbearer.
Fascinating.
You know who sire I bet it is? You know whose people I bet it is? Maddie's. Notice she's been making herself scarce around here lately.
That is true.
The Tremere do funny things.
Oh. So if it is Maddie or her sire, I suppose.
And let us not forget she brought old girl back in the room with us before all that shit popped off. What the fuck was that about?
Don't know.
You can never tell. They're so untrustworthy. But yet, Maddie has been our friend.
Actually, speaking of Maddie, has anyone gotten a hold of Maddie? I know we have... She's like the only one not here right now.
I have her number. I'm give her a call. And Annabelle tries to call Maddie.
To say that the cell service is absolutely lousy would be an overstatement.
Do you have a landline? Or perhaps she's just a voice.
I don't know.
India, do you have a landline? I can't reach Maddie with this fucking cell service. Think with a big city they'd know how to work things, but no. Nothing in this fucking city works hard.
It's over there in the half wall, but between the kitchen and the living room. I've seen it a couple times. I just haven't had to use it.
Thank you. So Annabelle, after complaining a little more about how Shreveport sucks, go to try and call her on a landline. Maddie. Maddie, darling. Any answer?
Yes, the answer of the grave. A cold, dark silence. Reaching out to the number that you have for Maddie. Reaching out to the backup number you have for Maddie. It's a little frustrating to not get through. We've all been there. You've all had those moments where you really want to speak with someone, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. But then as you're growing more frustrated, as India's pacing and trying to wrap their head around what's going on, as Lita makes themselves as comfortable as possible in such less than expensive surroundings, you all each in your own time realize that Joji is quietly staring at his phone and weeping very bloody tears as he settles on his haunches, his phone in hand.
Joji, darling. What is...
She didn't forget me. She didn't forget me.
Of course not. Who? Didn't forget you?
Caleb, she...
And Annabelle sits next to him and wraps her arm around him, kind of pats his back, comforting.
India probably reacts like the girl that's been raised around too many guys and doesn't know how to handle his crying. So she's kind of stands across the room looking at him. What? That's good. I'm happy to hear that.
I thought she left me here.
Oh, see, of course.
Do you want to talk about it?
Not particularly.
I don't mean to look your gift horse in their mouth, but I am somebody who's dealt with horses before. So the timing seems a little weird to me, just saying.
What do you mean?
You've been here how long, sweetheart? You've been here for how long? And then y'all have this weird ass fucking vision dream thing, and we are questioning our fucking sanity. And now all of a sudden your sire just sends you a fucking text message telling you how much they love you. That don't seem weird to you?
No, why wouldn't? She loves me. Of course she loves me.
India looks very pointedly at Annabelle, like, you understand what the fuck I'm saying.
And Annabelle indeed nods. And then she does the, like, let's go over here away from him. And leaves Joji to his illusions.
Kind of just semi repeatedly as they're walking away, just quietly. Of course she loves me. Why wouldn't she love me? She didn't leave me here.
No. Annabelle is internally thinking, let the illusion settle deeply into his psyche before you shatter it. But outside, she's just let him be for the moment. I think he needs this. And what? We need to figure out why, who, what is doing this to us. Why? It could be the demon in the mirror.
You want to know something weird? I just had a weird thought.
I would love to hear your thoughts.
What if we don't know for sure what happened in the dream because it was something that was real, but then they wanted us to think that we either succeeded or didn't succeed, or don't know whether we should have succeeded or didn't succeed, so that the prince could get away? Question mark. That's where my brain went. Like, something happened, and we were supposed to do a thing, and we did the thing, but then as a backdoor way of not having done the thing. They whammied out right.
So, like, the thing the Ventry do.
I
Quite
guess.
rude.
Could be, yeah.
That could very well be. That makes more sense than all of us having an actual dream. I don't think any of us are the sort to get... what do they call them? Premonitions. Unless you do, and you should have
No, I do not. The thing is, do you recognize any of the people that were on the ground around you? Like when you, because I know I saw people dead around us, and we were on top of a roof, and the sun was coming, and I don't exactly remember what I did last night. So as I said, it feels like maybe this was real, and then they made it fuzzy somehow so that we doubt ourselves and do something stupid.
Getting us to do something stupid is not out of the question. And now with this emotional manipulation, also, this is a fairly good theory.
I mean, there's the fact
There's
that
a
all of us didn't have nothing to do tonight, but we normally all have something to do.
there is a standard operating procedure for a certain style of writing. For the pulpy adventure, noir-ass detectives and intrepid explorers and professors and all of the like from the old serials from the 20s and 30s and 40s, at certain points when things began to lull, there's a quiet building, a moment stretching a second or two longer. There's a common advice: when in doubt, have the door kicked open by a man with a gun. And while the kindred, the Bethanites, are not pulpy adventurers, they're not steel, double-fisted adventurers of old, as they each, in their conversation, in their quietude, in their sorrow and joy, ignore the persistent knocking at the door, that is exactly what happened. The front door is kicked open, nearly shattered off of its hinges. And as you all stare or leap or prepare to bristle in response to the Baron Lucky, his emissary, and Cadence and Jessela standing there in the doorway. It is 57 after the hour. Let's come back at 7 after.
Who the fuck gonna replace this door?
So, everyone back?
Oh, yeah.
As
Vaguely.
best as we will ever be.
Excellent.
Outer space.
So as you each are working towards clarity of where you all are in the world, in the night, within your own hearts, and the door explodes off the hinges as members in good standing of the tower proper, with the Baron himself and the entirety of his cabinet standing in the doorway to your group haven. What is your first response when the door comes flying off the hinges, when there's a literal violent assault on the sanctity of where you all are.
Ah. Let me just.
Or this guy was a problem, right? Or
He is now.
Well, he is the Baron, the Prince, as it were, of the Anarchs.
All right. So, Joji, you go ahead if you want, Lita.
No, pull my gun on him as he comes in.
Damn. Joji, being the ever so skittish action hero that he is, knowing that this is India's house, knowing that India might get hurt if this guy came to hurt them, jumps. He's going to attempt to intercede and block this man's path.
Annabelle just stands up, crosses her arms, looks out the door and says, "Can we help you?"
India, much like Lita, is going for the fucking hardware. Don't come busting in my shit. What?
Excuse me, motherfucker? Do you have to pay the rent here?
The only thing more annoying than someone being rude, the only thing more grating on the nerves, is someone being happily ensconced in their wrong. It is clear that that person, that being, that other entity on this little mud ball understands exactly how grating, disrespectful, and otherwise dehumanizing their actions are, and they do so happily. So as Joji leaps towards the fort to physically accost and intercede and stop these vile, villainous vermin from vouchsafing the validity of your humble abode, Joji, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your Strength plus Brawl?
Oh yeah, I love this.
The attempt to intimidate them into decorum. Annabelle, would you be so kind as to roll your Charisma and Intimidation? And as India and Leader are only readying their gun, brandishing it, their hardware, there's not much rolls for them in the present moment. There's nothing stopping or impeding them from drawing, reaching for, grabbing, pulling out their armaments.
Charisma plus intimidation?
Yes.
Two.
Oh,
Not
give me a
two.
second.
Oh wait, my hunger shouldn't be here. Oh no, that wasn't me.
There you go.
Really? I see.
Keep fucking forgetting to select character here. Yeah, the action hero moment doesn't punish me. Let's go. Well, at least it doesn't make me more hungry. We'll see whether or not it punishes me here in a second.
Yeah, that's two different things.
But is it though?
That is to be determined.
There are certain truisms that everyone knows. Don't get into a land war in Asia. Never deal with gamble with a Sicilian when matters of life and death are on the line. And you never throw yourself into the wood chipper that is a clearly determined Bruja. On much of those accounts, you all break even, save for the last. Leaping to the fore and throwing your body in the way of an incoming Bruja and his cabinet is not the worst thing that can be done, but would you be so kind as to go ahead and mark down a grand total of 3 superficial health levels, half before applying. Your attempts at intimidating the Baron meet as much success as a snowball's chance in hell. It's not zero that you might survive long enough to regret your mistake, but it is definitely nowhere near anything but negligible. Lucky swats Joji aside, his body smacking against the nearby wall. Stepping inside. Well, forgive me for my tardiness. And thank you for allowing me inside. It's always a pleasure to be greeted with respect and understanding and the milk of human kindness. If you all were not aware, I am lucky. And I like staying that way. Might I introduce my friends, my associates, my compatriots, my most trusted few. We have the one, the only SOB himself, who enters and unneededly and completely ridiculously cinematically, he racks around in the shotgun that he's carrying. Those of you with a enjoyment of firearms realizes that it is a classic Benelli knockoff of the Franchi trench gun. Those of you not familiar with firearms and not carrying it, it's just a large shotgun, a pump action, no less. And those of you who know firearms realizes that there's no reason for him to rack around unless, of course, he intends to just waste that shell.
Seems like what an anarch would do. Just fucking waste ammunition. Not that I know, because I have no idea. As far as I can tell, it's just very cinematic and sort of John Wick, John Woo situation.
Alright, so how much of that was in character?
And for those of you so inclined, and the moment that he says for those of you so inclined, in walks 2 mirror opposites. Beautiful caramel skin and a dark baker's chocolate toned version of the same woman. Long aquiline nose with flared nostrils, hair pulled up into this, headdress of some sort. Those of you familiar with the such realize that it is in fact just a bonnet that's been styled to be more along the lines of a turban, but it is pulled up and draws the eye up towards the eye line, those perfectly manicured eyebrows and extraordinarily long eyelashes above those full, very kissable lips. And following behind them, entering in, no need for introductions on my part. It's so lovely to see you, Lita. Enters Gustav Hedrick himself. The man, the myth, the legend, the one who wrote the treatise on how to properly break blood bonds, which were used by the regent of the, at that time, the regent of the Milwaukee Chantry to shatter blood bond left, right, and center. It was the foundational text for the book of the Grave War that she used to, become a pariah amongst the Tremere and much of the Tower. The only line of Anarch Tremere that have managed to survive despite the Tremere seeking to purge them.
Well, I won't say it's good to see you, but
It is always a pleasure, leader. I'm sorry that my arrival has come unannounced, but may I introduce... No need at all, Gustav. So, in case you all were wondering, the reason why we are here, and Lucky, very, very much as if he's a modern remix and re-rendition of Patrick Swayze with his well-coiffed hair, points directly at Lita. We are here because we understand that you all are a cut above and beyond the normal Powerites, and we figured we could use a moment to discuss the plight of your common kindred and hopefully have a friendly ear. Now, I know what you all are thinking, that it would be rude for us as guests to come to your place without bringing a gift. And so we brought a gift most, valuable.
I am incredibly confused.
We understand that you all are in the business of potentially not being cowardly Towerites like the most of them. And because of Gustav's child here, we believe that we might be able to return this to you. And the moment that he says that, the moment that he puts that forth, in walks from Bethany, Mr. Fontenot, the competing farm for the Love Ranch, to say the least, a pain in the ass for you all as a whole back home. Him walking in is not the problem. You guys are okay with him walking in so long as he doesn't enter with, oh fuck, there she is, Clara, his loyal girl Friday, dragging with her the staked body of Mr. Aoki. We figured we'd return this to you all. We don't like things working unkindly. So here you all are. Here's a gift for you all. We did have to wrap them for you, but otherwise, a perfect member of your coterie, if I'm not mistaken. A member that matters to you all entirely, correct?
Yeah. What? Where has he been?
Oh, here, there, nearly beaten to a complete blooded pulp, but otherwise, with a little care and maintenance, perfectly fine. So, would you all happen to have an aperitif, or should we just have a share sip of Mr. Aoki here? I understand that certain members have a very magical aspect to themselves.
Kind of looks over to India. Do you have something here?
Having recently learned about politics and stuff from her sire, what would that have gained her as far as knowing how to treat guests? Would she have started carrying some things at her house or keeping things?
No. However, and being a good host, that you know that oftentimes for kindred, it's just the idea, it's the warmth of it all. So while they are putting themselves, attempting to extort hospitality, it will be up to you to either accept or deny it in this particular moment. If they partake of something, or if you offer and they accept, then they are bound by the laws of comity. If there's no exchange one way or the other, they technically have the leg up because they did bring a gift, a former valuable member of your coterie, Mr. Aoki.
Okay, so I think with that, how attached are we to Aoki?
Quite. I mean, he was, at least in the making of things, to be a member of our coterie, and I think the general emotional investment across the members of the coterie is rather high.
It
Not
is.
me.
Fuck you.
Not entirely true, but very, very spot on. Mavis, for instance, is close and personal to him. Mavis is close and personal to you. His assistance with the local police, while nowhere near the same level as the Prince herself, has come in handy in regards to several issues for you all individually. His ties and connections to your ties and connections, in other words, make him at the very minimal valuable.
We can get something if you don't have it.
As my associate said, if you would please come in and have a seat, we will make sure to find you something suitable.
That is perfectly acceptable. I proudly and humbly accept your hospitality. If I may say so, I do have a few individuals on my payroll that would repair your entryway. And he pauses and looks at the... I may need to borrow a little bit of your money to pay them otherwise, but favor for favor, I will make sure that they repair your entry. Well, I'll probably get them to get you a better door. It's one of the modern banes, these more hollowed out exterior doors. You need want something a little bit more sturdy. It's not the best neighborhoods, you mind you. People will just make themselves at home if you give them the opportunity.
Yes.
That's really strange, that.
Well, I suppose you all wouldn't know, well, be quite as aware of such things, being guests to our lovely Shreveport. And as he speaks, he moves across the room and pulls up a seat at the table nearest Lita, well, at least where Lita was sitting. And while Gustav, forgive the theatrics, Lita, you understand how these things go about. A push, a pull, a like for like, if you will, a bit of contagion. While Mr. Lucky is, in fact, quite right about certain security issues, allow me to extend my heartfelt thank you for your hospitality. And as Lita will attest, this is predominantly academic at this point. We understand, thanks to our conversations over the last few weeks, that you all are, in fact, seekers of a better standing. That you all are, in fact, separately together, hoping for the best for Shreveport. And by extension, Bethany.
Yeah?
In the interim, India has crossed the room to Joji and helped him to his feet. And then attempted to put her door at least back into the frame.
Isn't Joji a handyman?
Yeah, I can fix this up while you guys are talking.
Hey, you work with your hands?
Sometimes?
That is so funny. My father was a carpenter. And one of the things that he always instilled into me is never do a thing for free that you can get paid for. And never do a thing before it's ready to be done. And just because it's broken don't mean it don't work. That door works perfectly fine as it is, temporarily. And as our friend, our loyal compatriot Gustav here was saying, Lucky. I was. No. I'll go on with yourself, Gustav. Go off, as the kids say. But before we get too far into which chapter, which book we are all reading out of, we should at least make sure that it is in fact the same book. Y'all don't like that motherfucker, do you? We discussed. I don't know what we agreed to, but I'm just changing the agreement. Before we start talking about plans and how you all can help us do what's right for Shreveport and Bethany, y'all want the motherfucker dead or not?
So many motherfuckers, so little time. Which one?
Motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plate.
One that I know of. I have never engaged in concourse with a woman that birthed me. But you all know how them Tremere get down. It is part and parcel of their existence. The only one who might have done more with their mode of arrival here on this planet might be the Hakata. Well, I'm sorry, Gustav. The Giovanni. Not specifically the Hakata, though I understand that there's some bit of intertwining of relations between you two. Gustav, isn't that right? And Lita, you are quite, interesting. To look at, so I can understand why it might sway some to have certain feelings and what have you. You all are from originally what? Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, France, somewhere down south, right?
Sure.
Excellent. So we got that out the way. Y'all want a lovely, well, you're lovely. He ain't lovely to me, and especially knowing what I know about him and his mother and his sire and, well, his child. Oh my God, it is. Y'all want Smith Johnson deader than dead, right? You, and he points to you, India, because he used the flesh of your flesh and the flesh of several other fleshes to create his breed. And then he points to you, India. And you, well, if word is to be believed, you're part of the ministry. Word is to be believed, Lucky. Cadence, not mind you, I appreciate your counsel, but in this, please don't try to sway me. I'm trying to get to the bottom and the truth of things. The truth is what we accept. And I don't accept nothing except for what they tell me. And even then, I'm going to have to double check it twice. So, because you are part of what they are part of, you okay with getting this pain everyone's ass out the way? And then he looks at you, Joji. And you, I hate to tell you this, but there really ain't no reason for someone like yourself to ever put up with Miss Johnson, especially considering how hated you are. I heard tell that fella Ruiz, Maggie's enforcer, the guy that likes shooting people in the ass, don't like you very much. And you know he is Prince Johnson's #1 cuckolder, so you might as well help get him out the way.
I am immediately on this plan because he referred to Ruiz as a cuckold. I would like to say it more tactfully, but fuck that guy.
So, that's a yes from everybody?
Kind of, as he's saying it, just looks around, just trying to see if there's a shake, like a rapid shake of the head. Yeah. Anybody say no?
I decline to answer.
Does this counteract our current plans? Like that's what I'm trying to figure.
No, our current plans are to de-seat the prince.
That's what I'm on.
Like I said, so many motherfuckers, so little time.
Indeed.
All right. So,
Oh, everybody's saying yes. That ain't just me holding my cards in my chest. I'm just gonna let you motherfuckers know. For this to happen, we gotta just take out the Tremere as a whole. Each and every last one of them dirty, low down, usurping snakes in the grass are helping Smith Johnson, Mr. Johnson, father of the breed, remain in power. Each and every last Tremere is out for their own interest while supporting the prince. They have been reporting back to him all of the various plans that other members have been making. And between them and his breed flying all over the night skies, it will be almost impossible to take this motherfucker out. So, being as y'all new to town, nobody expects y'all to know what y'all have been enlightened to right now. Y'all, you motherfuckers, to prove how in line you all are to remove Reggie, her damn strong-armed enforcer, bodyguard, whoever he is, and his advisor out of the equation. Now, that ain't gonna be easy because, you know, Reggie is, in fact, the primogen. And Carl, of course, I'm gonna miss him some. And once you all put him in his grave permanently, aren't the weakest sorts to deal with. The only thing worse than them is that damn Regent. But luckily, Imam Burke don't truck with much of anybody. He's not quite as political as he should be. In fact, if I had only better, I guess he might be out there hitting ranch right about far away from most of the turmoil that's going on here. So we, meaning y'all, can pretty much have your way with the Tremere. Only thing that made things easy is if y'all had an inside man. If y'all could find that and get that done in the next 2 nights, we will consider ourselves in partnership, in cahoots even, to make sure that Smith Johnson no longer exists as a problem for anybody.
Okay, points of clarification, if I may.
What ain't clear?
I wanted to make sure you're all right. You said get an inside man. You would be fine with said inside man existing post this Tremere extermination.
If y'all want to keep a pet, that's on y'all. Y'all got to feed him to walk it.
Okay, I just needed to, we, you know a lot about us, it seems. We do have a friend.
Well, Lita didn't tell Gustav everything. I keep telling him that she ain't to be trusted. Women will get your head in the twist, no matter how. Lucky, it is not sexual between. I don't care one way or the other. She got your head turned around because, well, you found something interested in her enough to kill her into this thing, which means that there's some connection there, which means that she has the upper hand. Ain't that right, Lita?
I think the jihad exists because all fires and Aldern have complex relationships.
That's a yes, because she didn't say no, and you notice that. But as wily as women are, they try to be as honest or tell themselves that they as honest later. She didn't say no, Gustav. That just lets you know right now that she's been playing you for what little knowledge you have left in your head. That's not necessary, Lucky. Now, don't go getting all angry and uppity. You know I don't mean nothing by telling you the truth. I respect you, leader. I respect your game. I respect women as a whole. But I also don't trust nobody that have the upper hand in our relationships. Hence the reason why a test of faith, as it were, is necessary for y'all right about now. Like, I'm willing to test in all due respects and appreciation as friend to friend allies in this cause of ours. And because Gustav can't keep his lips closed about mystical this, mumbo jumbo that, if I'm going to turn a blind eye to y'all particular Towerites, and not consider this a lucky streak, finding where y'all might be able to be found and rooting you out before you get a chance to sack long-lasting tenterhooks into the world around you. Y'all gonna need to do something for me so that we can approach this as equals. A little foreplay, as you will, so that we don't have to hate fuck each other. We can make slow, long-lasting allianceship with one another. We are all gonna be on the same page. We're gonna take that motherfucker out and disable all of his networks of information and infiltration throughout the city. And then we're gonna board up the doors, lock up the windows, and keep the Archons and Templars and all them other titles you motherfuckers like to use from coming back in here and rooting us out like we some yesterday's bad Chinese food. That sound fair?
On that last part, how exactly are you going to do that?
Like,
That comes after we are actually in bed together. This ain't the pillow talk phase. This is y'all warming up yourselves and getting the foreplay out the way so that we can be successful together.
I don't really care about the international elements. So I'm looks around, happy to agree to this so long as it leads to a healthy relationship into the future between the two groups. After all, I am a man that has a lot of respect for his neighbors, and after these events, it seems we will be just that.
All I'm asking for, a little understanding and neighborly appreciation. That ain't too hard, is it?
As easy as making pie.
I think it's just pie. I don't think there's actually a named pie. It's just as easy as pie.
What?
I don't like apple pie anyway. Didn't that start with the Dutch?
You dislike the Dutch specifically, or just apple pie? In the name of getting to know each other better.
Both. When I was, as I told you, my old man was a carpenter. His biggest competitor, if you will, was this little. Well, they started off little. It was only 26 of them to start, but then they grew to over 500. Dutch. I don't know what church they worship, but they all have those strange little chin strap beards and wear the funny little hats and the homemade clothes.
The Dutch tend to be Calvinists.
I don't care what their last name is.
Of course.
India, who has been trying to keep herself together this whole time, finally can't help it and busts herself out.
So, your father had trouble with the Dutch church.
I don't know if there was a church exactly,
No name.
but that's how I found out the incest was wrong. I went to public school. It wasn't all that public back during them days. And mostly everybody stopped going to my old man because he charged a fair wage for fair labor. But the Dutch and they damn apple pie and homemade everything, this, that, and the other, were undercutting him. They were doing it for less and less and less. And before you know it, I couldn't go to school no more. Couldn't afford to, really. I had to stay. And split logs. And anyway, we all got our horror stories as to how things happen. Most of y'all died clearly in adulthood, but I died a long time before then, while I was still breathing. My hopes and dreams. I had a vision, a dream of becoming a world famous singer. Of course, jazz died out. But anyway, I had dreams of becoming a world famous singer. And those died very early on before I actually took my last breath. But I still hold it against them. It was their fault why I couldn't keep going to school and learning how to read music and finally learning how to play an instrument and being able to carry a tune. And it's all because of them, really. And it's the reason why I don't really cotton to the Dutch. They took my life from me.
I understand completely, and that is legitimately a tragedy.
Lucky, I don't believe your personal. We're trying to get to know each other. This is how did I say it? When the budded cops get together, start telling how they became who they were before they met each other and why they kind of need and rely on each other. Like everything that I'm missing, y'all will probably be able to bring to the table. Y'all have had order and had a chance to live a happy adult life and live and die, and as you've all done, to become this. So what I'm missing, the few little straggling strings, and I know you all are easily won over by my charming disposition and my bright personality and this smile. I worked very hard on this, but there are parts of me that, like, could use a little help, a little sanding and polishing, which also makes my skin crawl. All the years I spent sanding, polishing, splitting woods and working with my damn hands, and I didn't need to work with my damn hands. Who puts a kid to labor like that after all? Especially when you're not making any damn. Anyway, it's a pleasure to meet y'all. Hopefully we will have a beautiful business relationship. Go get them. Gustav, I'll leave you a moment with your peoples, but then we got several other visits and stops to make along the night. So again, thank you all.
Before you leave, sir, I'd like to give you my card. I'm a therapist. We could have a lot to talk about.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Therapist. I see. I've heard people talking about it, but I've never been able to find a therapist. I've always found people that, let's just call it what it is, the rapist. And I'm not really fond of being raped, mentally, physically, or emotionally. So I've never quite given it much credence going to the rapist to talk about myself. Maybe we could talk about you.
We could talk about each other. I would love to get to know you.
I bet you would. It's always the librarian types that find me most attractive. I remember, and he moves to the door, lifting it up and out of his way and stepping out. Cadence and Jessela are literally rubbing their brow.
Annabelle gives him her card before he leaves.
Yes.
The question in that statement.
I think he thinks you're flirting, so he probably would have taken the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because unlike with the rapist, a therapist is a very mutual thing. Both parties enjoy what's happening. Well, we got a mission and you got a date, it seems.
Who's left? Because I know they haven't all left yet.
They haven't. Mr. Shotgun is sitting there watching you all as if, despite what Lucky has said, there's a very real inclination to take out for Camarilla Kindred before they become a problem. He doesn't bother explaining or do anything else. Once Lucky's actually clear of the door, he turns and follows Lucky. And Cadence and Jessela and Gustav are still loitering, giving both Lucky and SOB time to clear out of easy, audible range. Cadence and Jessela exchange that look that says, well, one, they're twins and have known each other the entirety of their existences, but also, can you believe this shit? Gustav is almost speechless. He's seen Lucky in action before and seen many of his pitches before. And so while he's seen it before, there's still, like, you know, your friend, your associate, your coworker is crazy as a shithouse rat. But seeing them be their crazy, viviscent selves is another matter entirely.
You know, I wasn't sure at first, but I think I do like it.
Well, that's good. Apparently, we're going to be very well acquainted into the future. So it has just become doubly important that we get a hold of Maddie.
When you say that out loud,
that are still here.
when you say that out loud, Gustav looks at Lita as if maybe Lucky might have been right. Because Lita's never really mentioned anybody by name, including Maddie. One of your number not being here? While this was a surprise on their part, they were hoping to catch you all here. It took a lot of effort to make sure that your city associates were busy elsewhere. It took lots of planning, from careful moments and quiet conversations, to create the opportunity of this being possible. And yet, there was something else unmentioned. He doesn't say it out loud, but you see it on his face. It's like realizing that the Tooth Fairy really isn't real, and that Mommy wasn't blowing Santa Claus, but was doing something worse with your father.
Just fucking Joji face palms afterwards. Realizing that loose lips sink ships and build coffins.
Indeed.
Lita, I look forward to seeing you at the university shortly after. I'll see myself out. Cadence, Jessela, I'll keep the door open for you. Gustav stands and heels together, gives a slight incline of a bow, and makes his way out. Once he leaves, Cadence and Jessela visibly relax, a small exhalation. Our apologies. First things first. We understand, yes, we do, how overwhelming all of this might seem. You, however, are, as far as we can tell, and we can tell quite a bit, are the catalyst that shifts the balance. And you're familiar with the idea of Mayat, balance, correct? Yes, I'm sure they are. Your presence here destabilizes things. Your decisions, yes, all of them together. They say your, yes, but you didn't say the royal yet. Fine. All of your coteries' decisions help change things. And while you're not the center, no, they're not, of the universe, of the world, of the city, what you do echoes. There's as if there's a hidden portion of yourselves so very, in fact, man, so very close, and yet intangible. So we hope, yes, fervently, that you all your coterie, will be the destabilizing factor that will help us free the bulk of the kindred of Shreveport, and by extension, all the other kindred who hope to not suffer and slave under the boot of blind idiots like Lucky and Prince Johnson. Please don't let him down. He will respond poorly, and while we understand how overwhelming, overbearing he can be, he will be useful in freeing the other kindreds who hope to embrace the idea of being responsible and accountable to their own best decisions.
So the enarchment.
Whatever title you choose to use for the antithesis of a feudal system that treats everyone as if they are indentured servants to someone else's will. And with that, we bid you adieu and hope to see you successfully afterwards. And they finally make their way out. There's an unnerving aspect of watching them leave. You've all seen that gate, mirrored though it is from Cadence and Jeshua. You've seen that gate. You've seen them gliding before. And if you all would put your finger on it and actually give it a name, that's exactly the same way that Coleman moves.
No fun.
So alone at last, with the door leaning against the wall, you hear the sounds of their truck leaving. Clint lays on the floor, and they didn't have the decency to close his eyes. So his empty stare is what you...
Well, that was annoying.
He has got to have some dry eyes right now.
Most certainly.
Well, now that shit is lit somehow, and we are all in the midst of this absolute and unfettered fuckery. How do we fix my door? 1, and 2, what do we do with him? Pointing to Clint on the floor. And 3, do we tell anybody about this?
So, I can fix the door. Someone can fix him. I don't know about the last. I don't like telling anyone anything. There is one person I would love. I really suggest that we go to for some advice. If you guys are willing to go to them.
Your son.
Tell us who it is before we can make a decision.
No, not my sire. I mean, I would actually love to get in contact with her. You know, I actually scratched my prior plan. My sire, yeah, I should message my sire.
Well, tell me what your prior plan was first.
Coleman. Those two brought him to mind. And they're a great friend. And they are also on plan to boot the prince.
Interesting. They did remind me of Coleman somewhat. I wonder if they have a bit of blood or blood.
I don't know. What I do know is that Coleman is quite possibly the smartest person I'm aware of.
Annabelle gives you a look.
Quite possibly the smartest person I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
While they're sorting that, India is going to look up and see if Home Depot is still open. She needs a new door.
You get one of those nice steel security doors. I don't have particularly strong feelings about bringing Coleman in or not. I would caution you that we are very likely being watched.
Speaking of that,
I mean,
speaking of that, she looks at Lita. What's up with that? Your undead daddy is friends and besties with the Baron?
We Hecata tend to find roles as advisors outside of our own sect. And that's what you've done.
So basically, they play both sides through the mix.
More or less.
Well, that makes sense.
that's kind of... No offense, that's kind of a shitty way of doing things.
Well, it's better than how things were under the Giovanni.
Especially since
I don't
they
know
are
anything.
so close to the Baron, it seems that they have chosen a side.
I don't know. Maybe they see this as the best path forward for the Camarilla here in Shreveport.
To be utterly disbanded and destroyed is the best path forward for the Camarilla in Shreveport. Okay.
No. Oh, no. We might be getting rid of a prince, but that doesn't mean that we're getting rid of the Camarilla.
But we are doing so on behalf of an anarch baron, so I don't think that's going to go another way.
We're doing so with the support of an anarch baron. Just because they're giving us assets doesn't mean that we're, wholly underneath their thumb. All they require of us afterwards is to make sure that archons and other foreign elements don't step in on internal politics.
How are we going to do that?
Yes.
I mean, I honestly did not think that I would be the most ambitious one in the room. That's astounding.
Is there anybody in the Camarilla we could pop up to take over as prince?
Not to be a broken record, Coleman's a pretty great person, but if we're wanting to be a bit more selfish, one of us could. I think it would take us a little bit more time and effort to establish that power base.
I don't want to stay here. When this is done, I want to go the fuck back home.
I 100% agree. I have my roots in Bethany.
If I did, being prince would not be the worst way to stay.
Yeah, we would just have to figure out which of us does better in the role.
Do you know anything about politics?
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
A lot?
Okay.
I'd like. You want me to? I can write you like a college essay. Actually, I've been really familiar with them recently since my work brings me like literally to a college. What? I did not eat a whole pizza. Somewhere My brother in Christ, cook another pizza. I did not eat the whole pizza. Dude, I didn't.
I didn't know vampires like pizza.
I am sorry for the interruption. My brother has little in the way of understanding when I say I didn't do something.
That's just because he knows you will.
Shithead, did you not think to check in the oven before coming in here and saying I ate a whole fucking pizza? Go away, I'm busy. Alright, sorry about that. Round 2, Electric Boogaloo. Back into roleplay mode.
Write an essay for me on the political situation. I'll expect it on my desk tomorrow.
I'm joking? Oh, you are too. Okay, that's...
I don't
Yeah.
think we should set ourselves up for anything as bad as it is right now. The fact that we are going to have to do this thing that has added an extra step, like they specifically the Tremere. Do you know how much magic those motherfuckers have?
I don't know a lot about the Tremere. I don't really talk to many.
Did you not feel all of that shit when we were in the building that we were at? When this whole thing started?
I felt it. But understanding and... I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yes. That is the part that seems most concerning to me. I mean, aside from the whole usurping the prince situation, we've already had that conversation.
Alright, so, I'm also fairly certain that the people who were asking us to... Yeah, no, there is a lot of bumps to this, but we'll make it through it. We'll just have to plan. Yeah.
So do you call Coleman?
I do.
So you open up your phone, look there in the sidebar of the play. That's what your screen, your text messages, and all of your calls looks like.
Sidebar of play. Hmm?
It looks like a bunch of GIFs.
Have I missed something? Oh, here we go. Oh. Oh, no.
Oh no, it disappeared.
As my phone just looks like me crying. Oh my fucking god, no. He clicks the power button to turn the screen on. Okay, we really need to get that thing handled.
I'm not sure it needs handling. It's not that bad.
Doctor, it is that bad. It is that bad. Or...
You just need a little more self-control, it'll be fine.
You know what? You have said multiple things tonight that sound a lot like an alcoholic I know. It's under control. It's not that bad.
Yeah, she's been tripping a lot of flags.
Are you trying to imply something?
With codependence.
Yeah, what exactly did you learn anything about this kind of gestures towards the phone that makes you certain it's not a problem? That makes you certain it's not something we need to deal with?
Just seem to have more pressing problems at the moment.
I mean, yeah, but like that doesn't prevent us from dealing with it later.
Indy is squinting at Annabelle. Quick, tell me something on only real Annabelle would know.
That's a great idea.
I tell you what you told me in therapy in our first session.
Oh my god, is that true, India?
The face she made
Agent Clark
is utterly like, oh shit, that backfired.
And Annabelle did that deliberately.
Wait, you're not gonna do that with any of the things I said, are you?
Only if you request that I say them.
No, please don't ever say them.
Are you sure you don't want me to prove who I am?
No, I don't care who you are, just don't say them.
If you insist.
And while Lita listens to her coterie banter and discuss plans,
Yes.
many of the recent conversations and research deep dives that you and Gustav have done over the last 2 weeks of time come roaring back into existence. There are several great cities throughout the country that are architecturally designed to magnify naturally occurring supernatural phenomena. And while Shreveport is no great city, it is no New York, it is no LA, it is no Chicago, Miami, New Orleans. Because power accumulates where forces meet, at the end of things, at the beginning of things, at their apex and at their lowest point. Shreveport is, in fact, a trifecta of occurrences that cause power to swoop into the area. It is literally the anchor point for 3 different states. It is literally the wellspring from which all of the luck, the joss, the goodwill is trickled down from in its outlying areas. The fact that you as a member of the Hakata understand this and know this, there is a 0% chance that the Tremere have not been exploiting it for years, which would explain a portion of Smith Johnson's power.
Makes sense.
And there aren't any Tremere present save you, and you're not Tremere. So none of the other coterie members understands that facet.
So, the thing we need to think about is the Premier have control over the local energy use, is a good way to put it. And that energy allows them to be tremendously among other things. So, almost to a ridiculous degree, things are going to go their way and not go ours if we try to go after them.
Is
I
there
mean,
a way
we-
to counteract?
We kind of have to deal with them.
Well, that's a good question. Theoretically, if we could find the source of their power and break it, it would be pretty disruptive. Because they have to have some kind of something channeled through. more than the local architecture, but the local architecture is part of it.
Okay, I think that's...
What does this mean for us?
That we probably want to blow up the chantry if possible.
What's saying?
What?
Well, if we're gonna go after the Tremere, we kind of have to go after their home base.
And
Be extra secured with all kinds of magic.
I know that
I
sounds absolutely
know...
crazy, but if we could frame it as some sort of anti, sort of conservative attack against the Muslims or something, I don't.
That would be extremist, not just a... But regardless, I do know several locations that would fit the bill. We would just have to investigate them and vet them. Make sure they're like not actually just libraries or museums or whatever the hell it is that Tremere stuffed themselves into.
That will probably be necessary.
So, what are the chances that Maddie will not fight us on this? Feeling pretty low.
As far as my knowledge of the Tremere extends, I have not a fucking clue, because I don't know anything about the Tremere. As far as my knowledge of Maddie goes, I think if we make a good deal for her, I don't think she would, like, India, do you know Maddie to be an ambitious sort? Do you think promising her regency or something would be...
No. She's the hold my beer sort. She's the dirt bikes and rodeo sort. I don't see her really wanting to be highfalutin sort of regency level or anything, or being in charge of shit. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I mean, look at the fact that when things were popping off at the carnival, she mostly sat back and let shit happen.
Okay, so she might just be fine to...
I think more, it might be better if we just work around her in that regard, and if she starts trouble at the end, throw her in and fire with the rest of them.
That is quite the mercenary.
You know, I tend to agree with you in most things, India. Don't you? Could we consider maybe not killing our friends?
Well, here's the thing about friends who are particularly tied to their leaders.
I'm not saying I want to kill her, but she would have let that lady kill us, I have no doubt. Remember, like I said, she brought that woman in there to question us as to whether we were on board or not. Did you forget that?
No, I didn't. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm 100% with you. I agree. You're correct. I don't know. I don't like the idea.
If we can avoid it, we will avoid it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to do it, but we need to have a backup plan in case she does not go along with what the fuck we have.
Okay, and
we need to get decisive now as to how we will handle that sort of dissension.
Okay. And he just says, looking between Annabelle and Lita, this stays here, right? No one is going to say anything.
Correct.
I just need a guarantee, because it seems that's not necessarily understood very well.
Unless you request that I say it somewhere else. Specifically.
Kind of eyeballs Lita.
Fine.
Okay. Then yeah, if Maddie decides that she's more loyal to them than us, steps will be taken. I'll compile a list of buildings that I think fit the bill, and get to work investigating them while we prepare otherwise. What other preparations do you... He kind of... Oh, fuck, wait. No, don't turn off. He says, clicking the power button on his phone before it fully phases off. You know, actually, you guys...
Too late.
Oh... I'm gonna give Coleman a call and see what he has to think.
Why don't you just use the landline for that so that you don't gotta look into your phone?
That's incredibly intelligent. Thank you. He just puts it face down on the ground. And what's up?
As you dial from memory a long dead talent amongst most modern individuals, as you dial the Candyman directly, it would be a lie to say that there's not some small part of you looking forward to talking with Coleman, just to talk with him. It's been 2 weeks since you've had the opportunity of him entering into your store, entering into your shop, assaulting the way that you dress, or instigating some reason for you to find a reason to find the artistry in something small, something large, something that's your own. It would be a lie to say that you're not looking forward to the opportunity of speaking with him. Even if nothing gets accomplished, there's comfort in knowing that someone sees you, like the whole of you. That someone out there in the dark accepts you, no matter what that might mean, no matter what that might be. It is hard to hide that from yourself. And as the phone rings and rings, and your hope begins to slightly vacillate, and as your expectations begin to grow slightly smaller, just at the point when you're reaching the 8th ring and contemplating on ending the call before it's begun, there's an answer on the other end. And it's not Coleman. It's Empress.
Just,
Hey there, Joji!
Oh! Empress, hi! Is Coleman not around?
Oh, he's busy. There's been some issues.
Oh, anything I need to know about?
Always. But I'm sure you'll find out in time. So, how's Shreveport? You're in the big leagues. Look at you.
Yeah, it's certainly an adjustment, I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure it is, but you'll be fine, or you won't. But either way, you're gonna have so much fun along the way.
I hope so. Would you mind letting Coleman know that I'm asking after him?
Oh, I already did.
Oh. Is he... You know what? It's okay, he's busy. Well, just pass along that our... Yeah, that I miss you guys, and I look forward to the next time I can attend one of your parties.
That would be so much fun.
Alright, well,
We can't wait for you and Annabelle and Lita to be here. Especially you and Annabelle. Oh my god. It would be so wonderful. Emperor was just talking about... Well, you don't need to know that, but... We can't wait for you to come back. Why don't you call us from your phone? It'll be a little bit easier. We can talk in private.
The paranoia sets in. Is this actually Empress, or am I talking to that weird mirror thing?
Who else would I be?
Joji, like Annabelle, kind of like waves at you, and she's like, gives you the hand throat thing. Like, nope, not them.
Okay, you know what? I look very much forward to having a more productive conversation into the future. I'm not going back into the weird hole in the dark. Goodbye. Click.
That was unsubtle, but yes.
What the fuck?
There's a moment in that split second when you ask that honest question from the fullness of your heart, and each of you remember that moment where the dark touched you, when your version of happiness, your version of paradise, your version of being someplace where you individually and specifically could have been and could be happy forever. You could be the better version of who you are. You can be the lasting version of all your best intentions. And as Annabelle and Lita and Joji envision that moment, the moment that Joji hangs up the phone and asks that question, India, you and your brother got physical with one another. You never forget it. He had you dead to rights. And just when he could have really done, at that time, damage to you, he put his hands down and let you punch him in his teeth. You've told yourself all these years that it was you happened to be faster than him. You told yourself all these years that you had enough and learned to defend yourself, and you caught him by surprise. But as you stand here now in the room with these dead things, you realize that at the last minute, he stopped. As if something clicked, as if you finally understood what all of his roughhousing had always been for. You defend you when he wasn't there. And you feel his hands on your shoulders. You hear him say, Indy. And hearing that, and seeing that, and understanding what lays at play, the driving backing beat to the chorus of where you all are. It is 28 after the hour, and I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I'll see you guys next week, next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, you awfully disturbing man.
How is that disturbing? You guys did great. You only offered to sacrifice Maddie.
Now it's India's turn to cry in the corner. I'm glad that we all mutually got the "this is wrong" vibes from that call.
Was it wrong?